Hey there, I'm Beth Connors, a midwife and mom of two, but also your birth bestie. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into everything you need to feel confident, prepared, and in control, from baby bump to delivery room, from practical tips to personal stories. We'll cover it all so you know exactly what to expect every step of the way. Let's get into it. Thanks for tuning in to episode 13 of Your Birth Bestie podcast. It's officially less than a month away from my 28th birthday, and I will tell you why July 19th will be an exciting day for you too this year in just a second. But this last week has been a wake-up call for me, and I am not calling myself old, I swear, but I have had a rough go of it that has me really needing to prioritize myself again. I had a stomach bug last Saturday, and then I felt terrible the next morning, but with two littles, life just went on, right? And I didn't even want to share this because I'm a little embarrassed, but I pulled a muscle in my back, literally sweeping the floor. I was miserable for like 4 days trying to survive taking care of my two kids. I was in so much pain, and I had mom guilt that I wasn't doing enough for my kids or being there in the way that I wanted. So my mindset was totally off and my thoughts began to spiral. And my husband is actually a physical therapist, so he was trying to help me out. I was doing, the TENS unit, heat and ice, everything, but nothing was helping. So I had to go to urgent care to get a muscle relaxer, and I am finally on the mend a week later now. And then today I started getting a sore throat. So I had to quick record this podcast in case another wave of something is coming my way, but I hope not. But honestly, this reminded me of how I should be so grateful for my health and my body and actually take care of it. It has been a year now since I had my last baby. I have two daughters, ages 3 and 1. So if you've had a baby before or are pregnant now, that first year is so challenging. And it's not like a bad challenging, but it's just hard for me, both physically and mentally. And I know so many moms feel the same way too. We lose sight of who we are if we don't prioritize ourselves and our relationships. And this is really what's happening to me right now. Growing my business this last year has been another added layer of complexity for me, that the last thing on my list is carving out 30 minutes for exercise that doesn't involve me chasing my children, like truly purposeful, restorative movement with that endorphin high. And as a former competitive athlete, I totally miss that. I just haven't prioritized it. But anyways, just a reminder to take some time for yourself, prioritize your health, nurture a relationship, whatever fills you up, totally just do it. For me, I need to prioritize functional movement to be the best mom, the best wife, friend, sister, birth educator, because this last week has really affected me in many ways. So I'm excited to move forward, and I was not planning to share all of that. But anyways, this is why July 19th will be exciting for you this year. It's because from July 19th through the 26th, I am having a special offer for my hands-off hospital birth course. And the course is usually $297 alone, but sometimes I add on special bonuses. For no extra cost, I'm going to add on free access to my private community for moms. It's a place I'll answer all of your personalized questions from conception through postpartum, and I would love to support you throughout your entire journey and have the space for you to connect with like-minded women as well. And you will also be able to schedule a free Power Prep one-on-one Zoom call with me to talk through anything you're worried about or unsure about going into your birth. So I'm so excited to include all of these additional ways to connect with you and to help support you through this amazing journey. Okay, thank you so much for sticking through that really long introduction. But now you want to hear about how to help support a laboring mom. This would actually be an amazing episode to share with your partner, but if they're not into it, you can just take some notes if you're able to, and I will also link a PDF resource as well in the show notes with a lot of this information too. So if you're driving or doing something else, don't worry, you have that resource available to you too. So first, I want to encourage you to invite your support person to be involved during your pregnancy and throughout your birth preparation. Sometimes this comes naturally, but other times it's unknown territory for the other person. So figuring out how to best support each other during this time is really important and can really actually just help you grow together. So I really wanted this conversation to explain how partners can grow their confidence to really support you and help them understand that this is your birth and why it's important for them to follow your lead and trust your decisions. They will start to overcome their own fears of birth so that they can bring the calm energy to your space and continue to be your rock when birth gets to be too intense. So I hope this sounds good. And I wanted to talk about how dads, and I'm specifically going to be talking about dads, but this is absolutely pertinent to whoever your support person is. They are likely to have strong urges to protect their family, their baby, their wife or partner, and it can be really hard to channel this kind of protective energy in a productive way when it comes to pregnancy and birth. Because the fear of birth dominates society, which I'm sure you have seen, and this absolutely influences dads in some way, either consciously or subconsciously. Because of this protective characteristic of most fathers, they're most likely subconsciously fearful about how they can protect their baby and you as the mom, how they can protect you from pain, and really protect you from any emergency or even the unknown. And my goal for dads is to channel their protective energy in a way that can improve your birth experience. And I want to help them gain confidence as your support person to help them overcome any fears of birth so that they can bring calm energy to the birth space and can continue to be there for you when birth gets hard. Because when it comes down to it, there are a few major concepts that need to be understood in order to support your birth. And the first thing is going to be to get into a place of your relationship where you are so incredibly comfortable in front of your partner. And I'm talking specifically about bodily functions. So in birth, there will be poop, there will be blood, there might be vomit. You might be completely naked in broad daylight making noises that they've never heard a human make before. And if you even feel a small amount of self-consciousness, then that will affect the way your labor progresses. So your partner should make sure that they feel comfortable with all of those things, or really make sure that their energy is accepting of all those things, really just being together and knowing that you are both excited to experience everything that's to come with each other no matter what happens. Really getting into a place where you know you can do anything in labor free from their judgment. Okay, so this next concept fits right into that, and that is that you want to do everything you can to keep hormones in the right place and really keep that oxytocin flowing. And your partner can totally be involved in this. So if you don't know how birth unfolds yet, or if you don't know how hormones play a role in birth, definitely go listen to episode 8 about the hormone cascade in a natural hospital birth. That will definitely help you with this entire concept. But essentially, you want to do everything you can to keep your oxytocin high and your adrenaline low, because high oxytocin means a faster labor with less pain, which is great, and high adrenaline means a long and painful labor. So for sure, we do not want that. So to keep oxytocin high in pregnancy, and especially leading into labor and during labor, your partner's job is to help you feel happy and loved, and to keep you laughing with all of those good vibes, doing everything to keep the stress in the situation low. Things like saying, I love you 100 times per day, or touching your belly, kissing your forehead, doing all of those little things that make you smile and doing them so often that it almost becomes annoying will seriously go so far in terms of having an amazing birth experience. And the next concept that your partner needs to understand is that you are the leader here, and they should have an idea on how to follow your cues in this situation. So if sometimes they are oblivious to what you want, or if they have trouble sometimes reading your energy and being able to tell what's really going on in your head, start working on that literally today. And when it comes to birth, they should be okay with the fact that you might want them to be right there touching you or talking to you, but you might also just tell them to go away and shut up, and that's just as amazing because it means that you are doing what you need to do in order to get into your zone and into that labor mind. And on the flip side of this is that I always suggest that dads offer coping methods in labor and give the option for mom to say no instead of just standing by and waiting to be asked to do something. So having your partner be proactive about offering sips of water every couple contractions, or squeezing your arm or your shoulders tightly, having cold rags ready to put on your neck or your forehead, and you'll kind of have an idea and maybe have planned out things already ahead of time with those coping methods. So your partner really just needs to remember to have your birth plan printed and nearby so they can know exactly what you want and help you have that ideal birth experience. And the last concept I want your partner to understand is that birth works better when the thinking brain is turned off. And what I really mean is that they should really allow you to check out of reality. And this honestly goes along with letting your hormones flow. But they really need to understand that the more you can tune out of the practical world and tune into your instincts and get into your primal brain, the better. So that means if you want labor to get rolling, you shouldn't be the one coordinating anything. You shouldn't be using your phone, texting the grandparents or your friends, timing your own contractions, or trying to pack anything in your bags for a hospital birth last minute. When you're in labor, the best way to keep everything flowing is to allow yourself the safety and the space to completely detach from the material world. And sometimes in order to feel safe enough to do that, your partner needs to feel comfortable being your rock in labor. So what does that even mean? What does it even look like to be your rock during labor? And him being a rock during your birth means that they are silent, stable, still, and unconditionally present. They are powerful and offer you their strength without having to be reactive. They don't try and control or fix. They don't get agitated. They simply exist as a reliable sense of safety that you can turn to. When your partner can be like this, you can draw from their energy and use it to stabilize and really center yourself in those challenging moments. So your partner should never feel dismissed about the power that they bring to your birth simply by just being there, but they shouldn't confuse this with the idea that their presence is enough by itself, because they also need to be ready to act as your protector and to be alert and responsive to your needs. A woman in labor needs to feel safe, and your partner has a huge privilege by playing a role in that. They have the capability of providing you with that protection so that you can tune out and become completely vulnerable and completely in that primal birth brain that we talked about before. Your partner is almost like your safety buffer from the dangers of the outside world. So you might be thinking how they should go about doing that. And it's really all about centering themselves and learning how to tune into a calm and alert state. Releasing tension and the need for their control is really important here, and so is releasing any fears that they might have. And if you think your partner might have trouble letting go of some of their fears surrounding birth or fears surrounding your health or your baby's well-being, there are specific ways to let go of those fears that I won't touch on today, but there are some ways that are extremely effective. If you're interested in learning more, I can definitely talk to you about those. But beyond that, definitely check out the PDF guide in the show notes that is broken down into 2 parts. And the first part is a checklist full of questions that I want your partner to read over and to know the answers to those questions inside and out. And then the next part of the PDF is specifically for an unmedicated birth. So if this is something that you're planning, this is part of the PDF that will help your partner understand how to navigate an instance maybe where you are looking for a way out and how to support you in that situation. If you turn to your partner and say, I can't do this anymore, I'm ready to give up, give me the epidural, give me all the medication, and that wasn't something you were planning for, they will be ready to handle the situation in a way that takes into consideration not only those previous preferences that you had, but also how you're feeling at that exact moment. Labor is absolutely intense for moms, right? But we can't forget how our partners feel in those situations too. Having them be a part of your birth preparation and learning together will strengthen your connection as a couple and also make birth just so much more enjoyable for you both. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to Your Birth Bestie podcast. Birth has the ability to change your life and your partner's life, and the fact that you are doing what you can now and preparing together to have the best possible birth is amazing, so kudos to you both. And if you're looking for more information as you are planning your upcoming birth, definitely consider joining my online course, Hands Off Hospital Birth, on July 19th for those extra bonuses I mentioned before. And if you enjoyed this episode or found the PDF guide to be helpful or are here supporting me to reach more expecting parents and support them through this transformative chapter in their lives, reviewing the show just takes a couple seconds and it definitely makes my day. So I would appreciate that very, very much. And thank you so much again for listening. Bye, everyone.